Hey.
You just have to remember that we're all here for a purpose, and the universe picks its time.
I need you to help me get home. Okay, buddy?
Okay, buddy.
You're a miracle. Or I'm just hallucinating from starvation. You're special.
Who's special?
And there's 7 billion people on the planet. You might be lucky enough to bump into the one person you want to spend the rest of your life with.
Oh my God.
So this is the life I've forgotten.
This is just the beginning.
Ba-ba-ba-ba. This is year 7. That's right, year 7. This is year 7 of Movie Month. For 30 days, I'll watch 30 movies and do 30 podcasts. And this is day 12.
If it hadn't been for Cotton Eye Joe, I'd be married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
I'm a pretty big Harry Potter fan. Love the books, love the movies, and, have kind of followed Daniel Radcliffe in his career as he started out, Harry Potter for 7 stories, 8 movies. And that's basically made him a household name, made him a star, made his career. But what I like about this guy is that ever since Harry Potter, he's kind of made interesting choices in the movies he's done. He has one now where, or within the last year, where he wakes up and he has, guns, stuck to his hand, nailed to his hands. He did that movie from a previous movie month, from the Joe Hill book Horns, where he has horns. He's done some weird stuff, or weird, just not your typical commercial Hollywood stuff. And I would classify today's film for Movie Month as one of those things. Today, I watched the 2016 fantasy comedy Swiss Army Man, starring Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe, directed by Daniels, and I had to look that up. Directed by 2 guys, Daniel something and Daniel something, that it looks like they do a lot of Adult Swim stuff, which is on Cartoon Network, I think. I don't know a ton about Adult Swim. I'm aware of it, but I don't, watch a lot of it. But that's what they seem to do, and that's what they're famous for. And this movie came out 2016, and I remember the first time I saw the trailer for it, I thought, I got to see this. I got to watch this. And it's kind of been on my radar ever since, and it's taken me 4 years to see this movie. It is on Netflix, so if you have Netflix, you can watch it. Now, spoilers ahead. So if you haven't seen this movie, stop now, go watch it, come back. It's only a little over an hour and a half, and you're going to be amused, confused, depressed, and weirded out, because this is a weird one, but in a good way. It is like, I don't even know how to explain this. I'm going to just explain it. So the movie picks up. The movie starts with Paul Dano. Looks like he's stranded on a small island. He has a boat, or he had a boat that, I don't know, something happened to it, because we start off on the ocean and we see all these little like things floating, like a juice box. Please help me. I'm something. I'm on a boat, stranded on an island. Like this guy sending messages out on trash, and he is stranded on an island. So we see him right away. We pick up to him on the island with a rope around his neck, ready to step off a cooler and commit suicide. His face is all blotchy. His face is all hairy. He's grown this long beard. Seems like he's been out there for a while. And he's about to end it all. But right before he steps off to hang himself, he sees somebody lying by the shoreline. And he actually slips and almost hangs himself. Luckily, the rope gives way. He rushes over to this guy to see if he's okay. And it turns out that it is a dead body. And it's Daniel Radcliffe. Daniel Radcliffe plays the dead body. And basically, that is the movie right there. One man and his relationship with this dead body. This man stranded on an island and his relationship with a dead body. And from there on out, it is this weird, fantastical, high-concept relationship between this guy and this dead body and trying to get back to civilization. So it's like, how do I even explain this thing? Okay, put it this way. You've watched it, right? Or you're not going to watch it, you don't care about spoilers. So he's checking to see if this guy's alive, and he starts hearing the body, like, gas coming out. You know, they say when you die, your body expels everything. Well, this body starts farting. I don't know how long he's been dead for, but it starts farting. And like the farts are really getting strong and stronger and stronger. And suddenly he realizes that, hey, wait a second. He can tie ropes to the dead body, sit on it. His first thought is to tie ropes to this body, sit on it, because the farts are so strong that it propels this guy through the water. And all of a sudden he thinks, oh my God, I have a raft, a motorboat made from this dead body. And he rides Daniel Radcliffe through the ocean. They don't make it very far until they end up capsizing or crashing. I don't even remember. I watched some of it this morning. And they end up on what appears to be another island, or somewhere in the wilderness, off a shore. And the rest of the movie is them trying to get through the woods back to something. But along the way, Paul Dano, he's Hank. He starts, like, treating this dead body like it is a companion, like it is a person. And all of a sudden you start seeing, like, the dead body start acting back towards him, reacting to things. Then it starts making noises. Then all of a sudden it starts talking. And this is Daniel Radcliffe. I thought he was going to play just a dead body the whole time. And it was just Paul Dano talking to him, which I thought would have been even crazier. Well, maybe not as crazy as what we do see. Daniel Radcliffe, he not only can start to talk, but he apparently has, like, all these special powers. And he keeps calling him his multi-purpose man. You know, I'm your multi-purpose tool man. They never say, which I love that he never says, I'm your Swiss Army man, which is the name of the movie. But in the movie, they never actually say it. They say multi-purpose tool man, which is like isn't the multi-purpose tool knife like the generic way of saying a Swiss Army knife? It might be. I'm not sure. But it was a more generic way of saying it. So I liked that joke. It was said a couple times. But he was like a Swiss Army knife, meaning if you pumped his chest, water would pour out, drinkable water. You could put things in his mouth, and he could shoot things out of his mouth. You put something in his mouth, and it shot like a rope over, and you could use him. You could use him to chop wood. You could use him to shave. He used his teeth to shave. It was so bonkers, the things that they did in this movie. It was such a fairy tale type thing that you just had to kind of, the whole thing is dumb, but dumb in a kind of fun, like whimsical. Whimsical, that's the word. It's very whimsical. And yet then you see Paul Dano talking to this guy, talking about life, talking about love, talking about family. He has a phone that has like 10% battery but no signal. And he starts talking about the picture of the girl on the phone and how, and the whole time, the Daniel Radcliffe's dead body, which made a noise, so all of a sudden he starts calling him Manny. Again, who knows what his name is? That's what he calls him. And they're having real conversations. Now, for what we see is they're having real conversations. Daniel Radcliffe can't move himself, but he's talking and saying all these things, and he doesn't quite know how to talk, but he's learning and getting better at it. And the more he talks about love, the better his voice, his sounds, and it's almost like he's trying to get back to the life he had. Because at one point, Manny, the dead body, thinks it's his phone, and the girl on there is the love of his life, and he needs to get back to her. But then later on, Paul Dano's like, "It's my phone," and I don't know. It is such a weird thing to see because you don't know what's blurring between real and fantasy. Is everything we see actually happening? I assumed it wasn't. At one point, I thought the movie was going to end with him hanging on the beach the whole time, and maybe like the last thing you saw was Daniel Radcliffe walking up to him, like, "Don't kill yourself" or something. Like that's why that face is in his memory, or just that we were going to see them later on, and Daniel Radcliffe was going to be so rotted that it was all in his head, but it just, or that he was never even there. All these things popped into my head. So they're kind of making their way through the jungle, but like stopping along the way to do these elaborate things where Hank is talking to Manny about how he, sometimes you sit on the bus and, you look at this girl and you want to talk to her, but you're afraid to talk to her. And then he builds this giant bus and creates these dioramas, like life-size things of a bus with things going action outside the bus and making the bus move so that quote unquote Manny, the dead body, can experience what it's like to live for real. And he talks about his dad and how he's not close to his dad, how all they do is send birthday cards automated through email once a year. They barely even talk. His mother died when he was young. It was a lot of what I assumed was a guy trying to keep his wits about him by talking to something who's not talking back. That's what I assumed, right? So at one point, they finally make their way to civilization, and what I don't get is, at one point they see a car, and they're like, oh my god, we're almost there, and then a bear comes out and attacks one of them, and what the hell happens? Daniel Radcliffe uses his, oh my god, this is so weird, this is so hard to say, uses his farts to propel them through the air. They get caught in a tree. They fall down. A bear attacks them. Daniel Radcliffe's body somehow comes back to life, and then scares the bear away by lighting his farts on fire, turning himself on fire, and then Daniel Radcliffe carries Paul Dano back through the woods, which again doesn't make any sense. So it was probably just in his head. This is how he was seeing it, and he ends up in the backyard of the girl in the photo on his phone, which Daniel Radcliffe thought, this is your girl. This is the love of your life. This is who you want to see. But no. This is the girl he saw on the bus, took the picture of, and then he found her on Instagram and kind of just fantasized about her. At one point he finally gets a signal on his phone. He looks through Instagram and he sees pictures of her smiling, her with her husband. And somehow they get to her backyard. I didn't quite understand how they found that, but okay. That was Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who's like a well-known actress, but she's in this just very little. And they're in her backyard, and they're kind of arguing about they shouldn't be there. Again, I just assume Paul Dano's doing this to himself. A little girl walks up, and Daniel Radcliffe's like, "Hi, I'm Manny. I used to be dead, but then my friend Hank here brought me back to life." And she's like, "Are you weird? Are you dressed for Halloween?" So she sees Daniel Radcliffe. She's talking to him, and he's talking back. I don't get it. And then Mary Elizabeth Winstead comes out and is like, "What the hell is this going on? He got caught in the woods." They call 911. The police come. They put Daniel Radcliffe in a body bag. And Paul Dano, they're like, come here, Manny, I want to introduce you. And the cameraman says, hey, don't you look familiar? I didn't get any of that. I don't know why the cameraman said, hey, you look familiar. And I don't know why they thought she was Manny. Oh, now I do. Oh. He actually said to the little girl, hi, I'm Manny. And I used to be Deb, and then my friend here brought me back to life. Which is, right? That has to be it. Because then the little girl said his name's Manny, said to his mother, Manny. They said to the police, this guy named, he said is Manny. And the newswoman said, Manny. Manny goes, no, I'm not Manny. That's Manny. I'm Hank. And his dad shows up. Wait. But then why would the dad show up if they didn't think his name was Hank Thompson? Because that was his real dad. This is confusing, right? And so then the dad shows up. They're going to look in the body bag because they think maybe Hank's in the body bag. Oh, maybe he thinks one is Hank. Oh, one is Hank, one is Manny. Okay. The little girl heard him say that, but it was really Paul Dano saying it, even though he had it backwards. And then they said Hank is in the body bag. Very weird because he's like, well, just put it in a body bag. No one will come claim for it because they never do. And he's like, hey. And the coroner's like, don't I know you from someplace? That I didn't get. Then the dad came up. He didn't want to look in the body bag. He was so devastated. But then he realizes that he sees his son. He's like, what the hell are you doing? And the son is like, no, I can't let you get away with this. He goes back to the dead body, drags it while they're trying to get away with it, gets on the gurney with it and uses it as a sled to get back to the ocean, back through the woods. The cops are chasing him. For some reason, the little girl starts chasing him, okay? Then the parents of the little girl, the woman he was kind of cyber-stalking on the bus, chases them. They're all chasing them for some reason down to the beach. And while they get through there, they see all the stuff he made. The bus and this, he made like a movie theater type thing. All these things, but then you realize he really wasn't that far from civilization in the first place. So that's crazy that all this time he probably could have just walked 20 minutes and been in California just fine. So they're like, he's like, no, talk to me, come back to me. He goes to Daniel Radcliffe. Daniel Radcliffe's not moving because you and I and the whole world is thinking, obviously this guy's crazy and they're dead. And he's really just dead. Then she's like, did you make all that stuff? He's like, yes. She's like, what the F? Like, she didn't, not like, that's amazing. And then he farts, which is, again, weird. And they're like, oh, my God. And then he farts again. Oh, my God. And then he's walking away. They're cuffing him because they assume he killed this guy. And then all of a sudden, another fart. He goes, that wasn't me. And he turns around, and Daniel Radcliffe's body starts shaking. And they all see it. And the farts start stronger and stronger, start moving him, propelling him through the water. I thought Paul Dano was going to jump on him, and they were going to go away together. But no, Daniel Radcliffe starts just like a speedboat, like a jet ski, zooming away, being propelled by his farts. And again, I think Mary Elizabeth, she says, what the F? And you see this big goofy grin on Daniel Radcliffe, and then the movie says the end. I don't know. At one point, the body starts farting, and the guy looks back at his dad, and his dad nods like, yes. Like, that was really goofy. The ending was very goofy because I'm like, are they trying to make this dramatic where everyone thinks this is amazing? It was so odd. Such an odd movie, but at the same time, like, so enjoyable, you know. The ending, again, meh. But it's funny. I think I read something where the directors explained to Paul Dano that the first fart will make you laugh and the last fart will make you cry. And then I realized, wait a second, they did a lot of fart humor. The movie had a lot of juvenile humor, but then a lot of heart too. It was weird. So weird. Just weird. But definitely worthwhile watching. So if you haven't watched it, and I just spoiled all the stuff for you, definitely worthwhile. And if you did watch it, I wonder if you agree with me. Because again, worthwhile. Geez, I'm not even sure what else to say. Just great friggin' acting jobs. Great performances, that's the word, by both Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe. Paul Dano's been in a bunch of stuff. He is going to be the Riddler in the new The Batman movie, whenever that comes out. But he's been in plenty of different things. I can't think of one thing I know him from, but been in a lot of stuff. And, of course, we all know Daniel Radcliffe. And that was really it. No one else in the movie, no one else was even in the movie. You know, a couple, like, like quick little moments of thought where Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I believe, I hope I'm getting her name right. And then, of course, she's in the end with her family, and there were more people in the end. But, yeah, it was a bizarre movie that a lot of the time I just had a big smile on my face. Like with the music, it took a ridiculous concept and pumped in a lot of heart and great performances in it. And that's Swiss Army Man. I'm not even sure what else to say except thumbs up. I enjoyed it. I gave it a thumbs up on Netflix. I suggest it's rewatchable, I think. And then I was like, oh my God, I got to tell my friend this. And then at the end, I'm thinking, well, he's probably going to think it's so stupid. And guess what? It is pretty goofy, but I'm still going to tell him to watch it. Yeah, that's it, my friends. Day 12 in the books. Happy Friday, everybody. 12 days down, 12 movies down, 12 podcasts down, 12 Instagram posts, Twitter posts, Facebook posts. And, 18 more to go. Wow, I just threw a stick up in a tree and it stayed there. All right, I'm done, everybody. Listen, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Geek Mentality. The podcast is Geek Mentality, available everywhere podcasts are available. On Facebook, it's Fans Not Experts, and the website is fansnotexperts.com. Thank you so much for listening, and until tomorrow, because we'll be back again, here is my theme song.
This is my podcast, I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe, 'cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time, and I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode.
Fans Not Experts.